All right. Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to another installment of the Hidden Harm series. I am your gracious host of the channel, Universal Jones, and I will be joined momentarily by my co-host for this series, Lionel Suggs. Before we get started, got a little bit of a monologue today. This is episode 5. We've been rocking and rolling with this thing for a few months. It has led to a lot of additional conversations, people reaching out, people leaving comments. The views have been great. So we're going to make sure that we're doing our due diligence as we continue to shed light on such an important topic that literally is affecting so many of our lives that we don't even realize it. This is one of the most prominent things that's going on. And as I stated in the last few episodes, it is backed by billions of dollars. We have a lot of people who are out here perpetrating and harming children and a lot of compliance amongst people. And it's a very difficult topic for folks to talk about. We're going to do our due diligence today and continue to do our due diligence over the next few episodes to address this topic. Today's conversation is going to focus specifically on women. The episode is entitled Women Who Abuse Children, the quiet reality that no one wants to talk about. If you've been like me, you may have noticed in the news over the last few years that a lot of teachers and women who work closely with children have been caught engaging in inappropriate sexual behavior. Now, these sorts of incidents lead to conversations that can be very uncomfortable. I've been on panels not too long ago where we've had these stories come up, and the teacher may be a somewhat of attractive woman. And you'll hear people say things like, man, where was this teacher when I was in school? Or if that was my son, I'll be like, man, good job, bro. Like, you smashing that? Like, but not, there's been a neglect in understanding the levels of abuse when these female teachers are perpetrating, and females, period, are perpetrating on these children. A lot of men that I know have grown up and they've been sexually abused by women, but they didn't realize it. They were having sex with some woman who was 28 years old when they were 14, or the babysitter, or one of the aunt's friends. Hell, sometimes abuse happened from a family member themselves. But since it was a male on female dynamic, though the victim was a male, then it was okay. But women perpetrate on other girls as well. That's one of the ways that a lot of these girls get introduced into sex trafficking, unfortunately, is that they have these female friends who kind of groom them and get them into this. But we're going to get into all that later. That wasn't necessarily my monologue, but I did want to just set a tone for today's episode. So again, today's episode 5, women who abuse children. Welcome back. This is episode 5. And, before we go any further, I want to be clear about something. Today's conversation is not about attacking women. It's not about It's not about pushing an agenda. It's definitely not about shock value, but it is about truth and the cost of avoiding it. It is about truth and the cost of avoiding it. We avoid a lot of truth. There's a lot of things we don't want to deal with for various different reasons, but today, we're definitely going to deal with it. Okay, so there is a quiet assumption in our culture that harm looks a certain way, that predators look a certain way, that danger comes from one direction. And when we lock ourselves into those assumptions, we don't make children safer. We make the abuse a lot easier for folks to hide. The reality is women can abuse children as well, and often do. And when they do, it is often minimized, reframed, or ignored altogether. Victims aren't believed, harm is excused, language gets softened, and the system quietly moves on. Lionel Suggs is here today, and we're going to talk about this not because it's comfortable. I mean, Lionel is comfortable talking about everything, but not because it's comfortable, but because it's necessary. We're going to unpack why female predators abuse and they rarely acknowledge, why boys in particular are silenced when this happens, and how our cultural narratives about gender create blind spots that put children at risk. This episode is about patterns, it's about psychology, and it's about the power and access that these women have. And it's about the ways that good intentions, stereotypes, and silence can unintentionally protect harm. Say that one more time. It's about how good intentions, stereotypes, and silence can unintentionally protect harm. So when we do these things, when we don't acknowledge these things, when we don't talk about these things, we are protecting the harm that is going on. We are complacent in this system that continues to happen over and over and over again. So We're not here to sanitize the trauma. We are here to name it accurately, and because naming it accurately is how how prevention starts. Unfortunately, we've had so many people impacted by this. We are in the intervention mode as well as the prevention mode if we can. So if you're watching this, I'm asking you to stay open, listen carefully, resist the urge to get defensive. Child safety requires honesty even when we're challenged with the truth, and we're challenged with our own belief systems and worldviews. That's how we shift and change, is when we are pushed against the limit and forced to look in the mirror instead of looking out the window. So let us begin. I'm going to bring in Mr. Lionel Suggs at this point. Mr. Suggs, how are you doing today, sir?
Happy Sunday, man.
Happy Sunday.
You can definitely tell you be giving dissertations, man.
I'm a smart Negro, man. What was it? Too many big words? I mean, that was like a third grade writing level at that point.
Nah, that was good. That was good.
Thank you.
But
Thank
I
you.
do want to touch on something real quick. You brought up the blind spot, which is very interesting because women are the primary caregivers in society.
Correct.
They have unprecedented, unsupervised access to children.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're looking at mothers as the perpetrators, such as selling a child for sex,
Mm-hmm.
people, their minds go a certain type of way. The problem is, it's unfortunately a large reality of what happens. You have mothers who are selling their children for sex. And it's like, but how do you put this? A father bathing a daughter might raise an eyebrow. A mother bathing a son generally does not. This
Interesting.
social norm allows female abuse to continue undetected for longer periods. That becomes part of the blind spot that's created. It goes into the psychological term, the halo effect.
What does that mean?
The halo effect is a cognitive bias where our overall impression of a person influences how we feel about their character. If someone possesses one positive trait, like being attractive, so soft-spoken, or a mother, our brains subconsciously assume they possess other positive traits, being
Mm-hmm.
kind, honest, harmless. So when you apply this to female predators, the halo effect creates a protective shield and it generates three distinct phases.
Mm-hmm.
Where the first one is the visual disconnect, the second, the chivalry thesis, and the other, God, what is it? No, I think I got that messed up. Um, hold
And
on.
this is all in the halo effect.
This is I know the first one. So the visual disconnect, basically because human beings are wired to look for visual cues of danger. They're culturally conditioned to view sexual predators as imposing, aggressive, creepy, males at that. But the problem is when a woman doesn't look like a monster, if she is conventionally attractive, petite, or looks like a soccer mom, the brain rejects that possibility that she's a predator.
Hmm.
Now, this is called the beauty bias in court because jurors have a harder time convicting attractive defendants. And when they do, the sentences are lighter. They, subconsciously, they're like, she doesn't need to force anyone. She can have anyone she wants, which ends up ignoring the whole thing about being a predator.
Hmm.
Because it's about power, not attraction.
Interesting. I would say that I've been probably complacent in that, where I'm like, oh, she looks attractive. Like, why would she do something like that? Like, like, one thing I know I've said this, where I'll see, like, there was actually a woman not too long ago. I think she might have been a Latina. I think we might actually put her in our notes too, where it was a chick. She was like 26, 27. She's a good looking woman. I'm like, why would she want to have sex with a 13-year-old? But I think that a lot of folks will have that kind of response because
Mm-hmm.
you would assume, okay, this woman's attractive, she's young, she probably has all types of guys that are getting at there, but it's not about that. It's not about the attraction. It's about the power and control.
It's about power.
Hmm. Is she in here? I think we did talk about this woman at one point. Where is she? Yeah, this was one. No, this ain't even the one I was thinking about, but here's one of them. Here, I'll bring it up. So this girl, she was a little younger though. She was 22. Here it is. But you see this, and like, hey, this is a decent looking chick right here. There's some
Yeah.
Latina. She's a gym teacher down in Florida, and she don't look bad at all. But again, it's about power. Now, 22-year-old teacher is interesting. I mean, she's like fresh out of college, but against that power, it's that dominance.
And it's the influence. She has the influence. She has
Hmm.
the authority. She, again, the power. And she's using that to prey on a young child.
Hmm.
How many stories have we been seeing like this, though? Unfortunate.
A lot, man. I mean, I'm catching like 2 to 3 a month at this point. To me, that's a lot. I think that's a lot.
And the thing about this is, you'll hear some people say, well, this has always been happening. But then when you look at the comments, how many are you seeing of the men saying, dang, I wish this was me when I was in school?
Yep.
It's overwhelming on all of these. So you telling me this has always been happening, but you got barely no dudes sitting here like bragging about it?
Yeah, that's one thing you always tell me. You'll send me a link and you won't even say the headline. Like, look at the comments. Like, just skip what it says. Just look at the comments. It's the truth is right there.
And it's just being made, more and more getting caught, more and more they're being made aware. We're being made aware of what's happening because there was a bias, because it was like it's overwhelmingly men. We've seen quite literally in the last 6 years, as social media started, there are people coming out. It's more and more women that you're seeing. Again, it's not a million man march, but it is a lot of women that, especially in the education system for some reason, that are preying on children.
Well, they're there, right? So it's like
Yeah.
the access is there, the numbers are in their favor.
Yep.
I think that's one of the, I think about other industries like nurses, right? Like they have a lot of women, but like we see this in like with pediatric nurses. Like that's something to think about. Like nurses that have access to children. We don't see a lot of stories there, but school education definitely. Nonprofits and programs that deal with children, absolutely. I've seen those for sure. But where are the other female dominated spaces where they have access? Camp counselors, stuff like that. Yeah.
So it's going off of that, the halo, the problem, they also talk about chivalry, or paternalism thesis. And it's a specific criminological theory often linked to the halo effect. So when you're looking at chivalry or paternalism linked to the halo effect, it's about the justice system, which is dominated by men historically. They treat women with a sense of protective chivalry rather than objective scrutiny. The system often views female offenders as troubled, led astray, rather than malicious. But a male predator is going to be seen as evil. A female predator is going to be seen as sick or broken. That's a problem. Because when a woman commits a sex crime, the halo effect is going to it's going to lead people to look for the third party to blame. Who hurt her? Was her boyfriend making her do it? So they're granted a halo of victimhood, even when they're the perpetrator.
Yeah, you breaking these down. In one way or another. So you talked about the cognitive bias part. You talked about the physical attractiveness stereotype, the professional bias, and then also you brought up kind of self-awareness, like, oh, they might not be self-aware, somebody else is forcing them or pushing them to do it, etc.
So this would go into the lucky boy syndrome.
Lucky boy syndrome. Is this a Suggs-ism, or is
That's
it?
hilarious. Nah, this is this is with the halo effect too. So part of the halo effect is the lucky boy syndrome.
Oh, syndrome. I think it's ism. That's me.
um, and basically they would say that this is the most dangerous aspect of the halo effect because it warps the perception of the act itself. Because women are associated with nurturing and care, sexual contact initiated by a woman is perceived as less damaging than contact initiated by a man. So basically society struggles to hold two opposing ideas at once. Women are nurturers and this woman is an abuser.
Yeah.
So in order to resolve that, the brain minimizes the abuse from the woman. So what happens is we go into a reframe where sexual abuse is reframed as seduction. Molestation is reframed as initiation. This gaslights victims because if the perpetrator has a halo of being a desirable woman, the victim is told they should have enjoyed it. This prevents them from identifying as a victim, which stops them from reporting, which of course messes up data.
Right.
Hence, it goes back to what you brought up earlier, because we have so many men saying, I wish this would happen to me? Why didn't this happen to me? Where were these teachers at when I was young? Or where were these old ladies at when I was young?
Right.
So you're watching the halo effect in play actively in real time. And because it minimalizes the act, that person, the little boy or the little girl, they don't know that their mind is messed up. They're trying to, because this is how they're thinking, they're trying to formulate what happened. But then they're told, hey, you should have enjoyed it.
Right. Why do you think you do that? Do you think people just want to support abusers? Well, it's kind of two questions. Let me back up. Do you think there's something going on in the human brain that automatically does that? That flips that switch so that there's more of a gloss over the potential nature, the damaging potential nature that females have or can have.
Yeah. I mean, automatically. I mean, I want to say it's societal, but it's so ingrained into us. Hence, again, that it goes right back into the halo effect because we're creating a cognitive bias automatically of
Right.
women.
Right.
So that's automatically there. If you think of this 5'2", 99-pound little girl, she's 39, but yet she messing with this 4-year-old boy. They're
Right.
gonna think, oh man, she's just sick. They're gonna minimalize it, who hurt her to make her want to do that, instead of she's just a monster.
Mm. Yeah.
Because
You,
if this was a 39-year-old dude in the same situation, he's evil, he's a
yeah.
monster. Throw him under the prison.
I mean, yeah. Then you gotta be that young, honestly. Be 25 and get the same kind of
Yeah, same thing.
response. So let me get to my show questions, and then that'll kind of lead us into some other things. And if there's something that you want me to pull up or direct, please hop in and let
I
me
got
know.
you.
My first question is, when you hear the phrase child predator, what image comes to mind, and where do you think that image comes from?
My mind.
Salute to life.
No, okay. This sounds bad, but I think of like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Okay, say more about that.
I just think of the nice person, friendly person, welcoming. You let your guard down. Dude says, give you a hug. You gonna give him a hug. He's just that welcoming presence. That's what I
Mm,
think of child predator.
Why do you think that, though? I mean, most people aren't looking at Mr. Rogers as the potential pedophile predator. Like he seems to be a nice guy. You know, he lives across the street. He waves to us when we go back and forth. Why is he on your radar as someone to be concerned about?
Now, don't get me wrong, not him in general, but just the
A
image of
Mr. Rogers type.
yeah,
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 the
him
archetype.
in general, like or the guy that played the original Steve, I think, from Blue's Clues.
Mm-hmm.
Him also. These are the people that I would think of immediately when I
Okay.
would see them. But
But
it's
why?
same reason. He's welcoming. He's nice. He's kind. You know, he's here to help us, guide us. You know, just this gentle, caring nature. I mean, that might be offensive to him, but and when I think of that, I think easily. This is how you easily trap somebody. This is how you easily trap somebody because kindness is a weapon.
Yeah, you said that a lot.
And that is how, I mean, child protective services. I mean, these people will tell you that what I just named, or probably the majority of the people that they encounter that are messing with these young children.
Mm.
But the thing is, that's my general view because it's not like a woman that comes into my head when I see this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you was asked what I would see when I would see a woman, Baby D from next Friday.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I think of. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if the audience know who that is, but
That,
Baby,
I'll pull her up. I'll pull her up. But I mean, I think I know why you're saying that. But why are you saying Baby D?
from personal experience,
Mm-hmm.
because I was a victim of someone that looked like Baby D, and I was a child.
But what is it about the baby? So for you, it's just personal.
Yeah,
That she fits a personal archetype of your experience through dealing with trauma. I'm gonna show her. So just brace yourself. Just, just FYI, no, it's not that one. So this is Baby D right here to the right.
yep.
So this look is a very mid 90s look. I remember my aunt and all her friends having these damn braids all the time. Um, box braids. Are those box braids? No, 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 no. Those are not box braids. But so this is what reminds you. And what was it? So is there any particulars about this woman, characteristics or look wise that
This
tipped you
woman
off,
looked just
or is
like
it just to remind you of the lady that
yep.
that preyed upon
her,
yourself?
her whole aesthetic,
Mm,
build and all.
mm,
And again, that's a big chick. I was
mm-hmm,
like 100 pounds.
mm, mm. You want to tell us some more about that, or you want to move on?
I'm 100 pounds. This woman looks like how she looked when you saw her on Friday. That's the build she looked. And, she's grabbing me, I'm sitting here trying to go. You can't. The girl strong arming me. I feel like I'm X-Pac and she China, if you know the reference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm wrestling.
Like, this was absolutely a difference in size. That's one of the reasons I was like, nah, I got to get big. I can't let this happen to me ever again.
Interesting. And what did that mean? What did that mean to you getting big? Like, were you hitting the gym? What were
Oh,
you
heck
doing?
yeah. I was hitting the gym. I was working out. I was trying to eat a little bit more, put a little bit more pounds on me. I just wanted to not be the scrawny, skinny little victim.
Mm,
I wanted to walk around and you hear Debo's music from Friday playing.
mm. This pretty much Jaws. Interesting. Okay.
I had to be able to protect myself because you have men and women, they see prey and they're going to take advantage of it.
Mm. So for those of you just coming in, the question was, when you hear the phrase child predator, what image comes to mind? And where do you think the image comes from? Feel free to put it in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this in the playback. Feel free to answer that question. Where do you or what images come to mind when you think of a child predator? For myself, I always think of like an older man, mostly a white man, but
Yeah.
it could be an older black man too.
Hmm.
Um, and the image that comes to mind is usually somebody who kind of has like a uncle type vibe to them. They're usually a loner. They don't have like their own children. They kind of do their own thing. They're usually a productive type of guy. Like they'll have like some keys or they'll have some sort of thing that they're working on, a car or yard or something. But that's what comes to mind for me. And it probably does come from my childhood. Not that I know, like, because I don't think I know any actual predators from what I'm aware of. But I remember always being creeped out or being told, "Watch out for certain types of people."
Hmm.
Like sometimes there'll be like a guy that lives down the block or something, and he's all alone, and they're like, "Stay away from his house." You know, there'll just be these little things that'll be stated. And then there's that old adage in a lot of Black American communities of don't sit on that person's lap at the family function. Now, I would say my family, we didn't. I mean, I remember stuff like that being stated, but not why. But I don't remember like some long abuse history either.
So the
I'm sure I would be surprised if there's not some, but I know that's been a historical thing with a lot of Black American families. Is that level of abuse? I've seen it from a counselor standpoint, but not from personal. Go ahead.
has any of that ever been indicated to be a woman?
No, it's always kind of been a man. Mm-mm. Honestly, I probably didn't think that women could abuse a man until I was probably in my mid to late 20s. It was a long time.
You know, when you bring that up, have you ever heard of MTP, made to penetrate?
No, no.
So
What is that?
this is CDC, and it is the National Intimate Partner and Sexual Violence Survey. This had to be created because for decades the FBI and many legal jurisdiction defined rape specifically as penetration of the victim. By definition, this excluded men who were forced by women to have sex because the man was doing the penetrating, even if coerced. So the CDC, that their National Intimate Partner Sexual Violence Survey, they created a category called made to penetrate. So when you look at that data, and it shows that approximately 1 in 14 men report being forced to penetrate someone during their lifetime. In these cases, 79% of the perpetrators were female.
So slow down. Break it
Okay.
down. You're saying the females are penetrating other people?
No, they're forcing the guy to. They're they're assaulting the guy.
They're assaulting the guy. Okay,
Yeah,
Andrew.
I know how it's worded, but that's what it means. That the female is assaulting the guy.
Interesting.
So
Mm.
the MTP data, yeah, 1 in 14 men they report. Now again, clearly this is going to be underreported, but 1 in 14 men report that they had a woman assault them, and 79% that of the perpetrators were female. Hence, that's what I'm
Mhm.
bringing up.
Wow. Fascinating. Okay.
But this huge chunk of abuse is absent from standard sexual assault statistics. Hence, why people think, "Hey, I didn't think a woman would do this."
Mm. Do you think that there's something different in the psychology of women who pray versus men?
No,
Yeah.
it's about dominance.
It's peer driven by dominance.
It's yeah. It's about the
Maximum
power.
maximum control. Okay.
Because I
Fascinating.
want to say, you would look at it and you would think because it's a woman, maybe it's just about to sound bad. Maybe that's a son she wants to have a relationship with in
Mm.
some weird way.
Epidus kind of complex type of thing. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Possible.
I've had that in my head, but it is definitely about power and control.
Got you. Got you. Here's my second question. Why do you think society struggles to acknowledge that women can also cause serious harm to children?
So that goes back to the halo effect.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of did answer, but what do you think about that? Like, we got some more people in the audience. You guys can answer the question as
Because
well.
your condition. It's the, what do you call it? The mommy complex.
The mommy complex is deep. And maybe we can get into that. I can go into it too. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
that's what it is. Because
Mhm.
we put that emphasis, we put that goddess complex on the mom, and we look at the women as nurturing, the caring, the soft. We give them these characteristics, and these women know this. It's no different than when you hear me say on other videos, they become analytical with it.
Mhm.
We throw it in their face all the time, so they know they can get under the radar with it.
Mhm.
And I would argue it's even more powerful hearing from a woman saying, "Hey, don't tell anyone," or a real man wouldn't say anything, or something like that. Then if a man said it, this is why they'll tell you. I think, what is the data? Don't quote me yet. I think it's like it takes a guy like 26 years to report that he's been assaulted by a woman,
Wow.
because that's how it messes your brain up.
Mhm. How many men have you? I know you've helped people who've been assaulted. I'm assuming they're mostly women.
Yeah,
But have you helped any men?
yeah, absolutely.
What have you noticed any commonalities amongst these men you helped, or similarities in their stories, or even in like some of their behaviors or their
The,
outcomes?
the
What have you
worst
picked up on?
part that I've noticed is that it's normally a group of men that assaulted the little boy.
So it's
That
not even
common,
women.
that a group of men assaulted the little boy,
Wow.
or it was definitely family members that did it.
That is
Now,
definitely.
I have heard, it's literally a handful, that they were assaulted by women, but it's mainly the men that were doing the damage in that one, and
Mm,
that's the one that they recognize as the more trauma, the more breaking point, the men that did it.
mm,
But I think that also that's because it was the violence that came with it. So it was violent. For the other one, it was more of a manipulative type situation.
hmm. Fascinating. Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Oh, they're not good stories.
Mm. Do you? And I think the halo effect piece too, and the mommy spirit thing. I think that in today's society, we've been able to
And
allow an influence of feminism that lets women kind of get away with a lot of things. They will say that
they
they don't, but if you look at it, they can't. They do. They
they
do. They
do.
have a lot more influence that they're willing to admit. And one thing that I've noticed, as I look at like family dynamics over the last 40 to 50 years, is that this matriarchal figure piece has shown up greater than it ever has since the third wave of feminism. Now it shows up differently in different communities, ethnically or racially, but overall, that mom plays a huge role in a lot of different spaces. And when those dynamics are not the mother child dynamics are not intact, you do see a lot of mental health issues starting to come up with people. Um, People have mommy, quote unquote, mommy issues. You can talk about the classic Oedipus complex. Like anytime there's that rejection or their son shunned away from that mom child bond, it can create issues for some people. And what I think ends up happening is that there's a longing that individuals have these bonds with their mothers. And if that bond is not strong or not available, then people start to have cracks in their emotional armor. They start to struggle with their ability to deal with their own emotions. And you see that play out in their relationships and how they talk or treat women, etc. I think that's one of the reasons why the red pill has blown up too, because a lot of people have quote unquote mommy issues and they deal with that mommy spirit, and they're frustrated with women because of how women have developed versus what they think women should be in this modern time, and we're running into like this issue. So I bring that up to say we have this kind of thought process around women, and women are able to do a lot of things that they haven't been able to do before for various different reasons, not just feminism, but the pill. There's a lot of stuff too, but it's given them an opportunity to prey on these children, and it gives an opportunity for um, these children to be victimized because they want that connection that they may not have. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
It does. So I want to throw you this. I hear people when they comment on the certain mentalities of men. One of the things is I've trained my sister to ask particular questions when she sees certain habits. How often are you seeing people that see a guy raging out, going on a tantrum, saying stuff about women and whatnot? How often do you think maybe his mom or auntie or some female sexually assaulted him?
I don't think of that. I think he's going crazy. He needs to chill out. But it's possible. It's possible. I don't start thinking that people have issues with their mothers until I get to know them a little bit further. Like there's a very infamous person in these YouTube circles. I am 100% confident he has mommy issues. 100%. 100% confident. And and I've seen this individual um whine and break down like a fucking 6-year-old. I've seen this individual just torture through women and pretty much verbally abuse them to the point where they submit, and he just does it. It's just part of his MO, and it's it is what it is. But I'm pretty sure those are because of mommy issues. But you see a lot of this, and then again, this is why I think the red pill has exploded, as well as been the response to women, but also not having that nurturing, loving care from an actual mother. Um, and I think that most people, especially men, but people in general, have to break that mommy spirit in order to grow fully in their lives. Um, having this idolatry of your mother being this great woman and she has no flaws and she can do no wrong, I think it really hurts people's growth because mom can always swoop in and force you to do things or dictate how you want to live or where you want to live. We see it all the time in black community, African Americans. Somebody may get drafted in the NBA or NFL. The first thing you say, I'm gonna buy mama a house. It's like, why? Like what the hell? Like it's just like automatically you owe her something because she gave birth to you, as if like there's not other things that can be done besides making sure that mama's straight. But that's like the badge of honor or the bar to clear from a lot of black folks once they reach some level of success or comfortability.
And right now, you're connecting that to the halo effect.
Right. Right.
What that connects to.
Right. And I think it also connects to other things that we allow women to get away with too. Like, if a woman's pretty, you're more willing to tolerate her saying some nonsense versus if you're not attracted to her, you're more willing to cut her off and to move on. It's very interesting. This is a fascinating dynamic, but I do think it does play a role into this. All
So,
right, go ahead.
you brought up earlier the blind spot.
Yeah.
And if you look at the gender gap in data, what's reported versus what's actual, the most useful data point is basically there's a discrepancy between arrest rates, victimization surveys. Like when you look at the official arrest data, according to FBI, Department of Justice, females account for only 4 to 5% of all registered offenders.
Mm-hmm.
We know that's a problem there. And then when you looked at the victimization data, when researchers asked victims anonymously, rather than looking at police reports, the number jumps significantly. So the research then shows that it's a 14 to 20% of all child sexual abuse is perpetrated by females.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you add in the male victim factor, it's that when you're analyzing male victims of child sexual abuse, some studies indicate that up to 24% identify their abuser as female. And it's like, this is where you look at underreporting. They also have this thing called the 3 common typologies. And it's a classification system for female predators. And this differs from male profiles significantly. So one, you have the teacher lover, the teacher lover. This is relational. And they give you a profile that basically tell you that often perceives the abuse as a consensual romance or quote unquote education. They rarely use force, and they target post-pubescent adolescents. And the rationalization is they don't see themselves as predators. They believe they're saving the little child or providing a service. This is the women.
Mm-hmm.
That's the profile that they was able to create from that, from the teacher lover situation. And they also bring up that this group is most likely to receive leniency in court because they fit the lovesick narrative rather than the predator narrative. Once again, cognitive bias towards the women.
Yeah, very interesting.
Then you got the code. Oh, before I say anything, what do you think?
No, I think it's fascinating. Again, we have like these emotional kind of guards that are down just because of how women show up in our lives and our association with women. Therefore, it leaves a lot more people victimized. And then once the action does end up happening, then they're further victimized because no one believes them because we're still leaning in on how women show up, when they show up, and what our expectation for them all to be. So it's fascinating.
So then you got the co-offender. This is male coerced. The profile reads as a female who abuses in tandem with a male partner. When they give you the dynamic, historically, the justice system view these women as victims themselves because they were forced by the male. However, modern data shows many are active participants who groom children for the partner. And they're often the access point to children. Again, mothers, daycare providers. They're the ones that's going to allow male partner access.
Mm.
Unfortunately, you also have the predisposed, the solo offender.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they have severe trauma, they're going to abuse younger children, often their own or relatives. But unlike the teacher lover, this type is more likely to struggle with impulse control, and they're going to use manipulation or coercion similar to males.
Mm-hmm.
So you see the different tactics that go into this or how they're looking at it, because we're going to give these different profiles to these women and we're minimalizing the fact that, again, they're a predator, point blank. Then you have the benevolent sexism. So data shows with this one that the justice system treats female predators, again, differently, vastly differently, often due to societal biases. Hence, when you're looking at incarceration rates, a study on sentencing disparities found that female sex offenders were roughly 58% less likely to be sentenced to prison. than the males for similar crimes.
Mm-hmm.
So if a woman that's 39 assaults a 4-year-old, there's a high chance she may not serve prison time.
And we've seen that not that young of an age of the victim, but we've seen some of these teachers getting like just some probation. That's it.
The luck myth, society often minimizes female on male abuse. Terms like seduced or affair are used in media reports instead of rape or molestation, which biases juries and judges before the trial even begins. And because female sex offenders have a lower reoffending rate than men, this is often used to manipulate defense attorneys to argue for probation over prison.
Mm.
So we have these situations where we look at just women in general and we're looking at their actions and we put these veils over them instead of just pointing it, ain't no different than a dude. You're a predator. You manipulated that child. You took advantage of that child. You traumatized that child. You need to be thrown under the jail too. I don't care if you look like Adriana Lima or 1996 Tyra Banks. You're going under the jail.
While you were talking, I found a couple. I was trying to get something that's newer within the last few months or so, or earlier this year. I got a couple clips. If you want to respond to them,
Let's
maybe we
go.
can pick up on some of these things that we're talking about here. I'm gonna start with the the freshest clip I have from 2 days ago down in Tampa, Florida. Yet again, Florida likes to make an appearance in our series, man, for some strange reason.
Don't they though?
Florida and Texas, we always get stuff from them. All right, so here is the first clip here out of Tampa.
A daycare worker in Largo was in jail this morning accused of attacking a 12-year-old child with autism inside of a group home. Investigators say surveillance video shows Shannon Cooper hitting the nonverbal child and throwing
Oh, this wasn't sexual abuse. This was physical violence.
furniture, leaving the child with bruises and scratches.
Oh, never mind. That was physical violence.
I mean,
Go ahead.
still bad.
Grady Judd, let's listen in.
Thank you, ladies and
Say more. Sorry about that.
No, still bad. It was still
Absolutely.
bad.
I mean, our core message, and one of the reasons we even got on this topic was just parenting and how a lot of parents really don't care about their children.
Yeah.
And that kind of led us to the sexual abuse conversation months ago. But yeah, it is still bad. It is still bad because again, vulnerable children are vulnerable. Period. It adds even more on there when you add on the fact that the kid has autism, which means they have social issues, social engagement issues.
And,
So now, they're just like further vulnerable to get victimized.
and there's a parent. I mean, there's a grown up, a woman
Yep.
taking full advantage of it, showing it's just an adult taking advantage of it. But we're going to look at it as maybe something's wrong with that woman.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give her a little leniency
Mm-hmm.
when we shouldn't.
Mm-hmm. All right, hold on. Let me see. Okay, yeah. All right, so here is a story from a month ago. Oh no, I'm gonna take this one out. This is not a. We're gonna save this one for later because this is not a woman. This is a male. All right, so that leads. Okay, 6 months ago, there's two different stories that we're gonna check out. Here is the next one, where the student himself is speaking out. He's sharing his own story here.
It's a stunning moment as a teen speaks out about the years of sexual abuse he says he suffered at the hands of a teacher.
Just because I'm a man doesn't mean that it should be shunned away. Because I was a child. I wasn't a man. I was a boy.
Grant Strickland met the kindergarten teacher when he was 14 years old and auditioned for the lead male role in his community theater production of Legally Blonde the musical. Grant won the part. Teacher Nicole Callahan was the director.
I had to grow up very, very fast and get on a whole nother maturity level that I was never ready for and shouldn't have had to been.
Detectives say the teacher started grooming the 9th grader and pressured him into an inappropriate and unlawful relationship that went on for 2 years. She reportedly even signed him out of the school and personally drove him to rehearsals. Sometimes she drove him to a hotel. Other times they got together in a parking garage.
State your name for me, ma'am.
Nicole Callahan.
The 33-year-old teacher wiped away tears during her first appearance in court in Anderson County, South Carolina.
You will have a no contact order with the victim or the victim's family. Do you understand the no contact order?
Yes, Your Honor.
Grant, who is now 18, says he decided to come forward to put a human face on what he experienced.
This happens, and it happens a lot, and it's not just to women, it's to men too, and it happens to young children, and it's got to stop. I would never want someone to go through what I went through because I don't really think that most people would be strong enough to survive it because I almost did it.
All right. Salute to Inside Edition. Thoughts on that clip?
Hey, props to him for coming out.
Mm.
She needed to be put on blast. Absolutely.
Mm.
You hear it in his voice. He's messed up.
Yeah.
You hear it in his voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely hope he get the counseling he needs. I hope his healing journey. I mean, this is the start of it. Absolutely. I hope it goes well, but he is broken. He's messed up.
Mm. How do you think this affects people? We'll talk about boys who are victimized by women. How do you think this affects their ability to have relationships moving forward? From your experience.
Sometimes, because I know I have a dominating personality. I don't want that to sound negative, but I'm the leader. But when I really think about it, I mean, I guess it depends on the level of trauma, personally. It definitely depends on the level of trauma. In his situation, she probably demanded him to be a man, to do man things that he was not capable of doing. And I can understand if he want to take a step back. I can understand if he gets red pilled. I can definitely understand whatever route he actually decides to go. I'll understand it, because this goes with the mommy thing, because he had this nurturing person. I mean, at least that's how he thought it was, obviously, for a little bit, until he realized it wasn't. So that level of trust ends up breaking, because again, she's conditioning him. He's young. His mind is available. So it's easy to condition him, put thoughts in your head. You actually don't know which way is right and up. So his mind is scrambled. It's going to affect him, because he's going to look at the next girl and think, you could be just like her.
Mm-hmm.
Except she could be the same age as him, but it's already hijacked his mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Like, he might have some reactive attachment concerns or issues. He might lean too far in relationships or be very avoidant. Like, finding that common ground may be a challenge for an individual who gets abused like this. He may develop an affinity for older women.
That too.
He may have sexual orientation or identity issues. Like, there's a lot that can come from being victimized at this point.
Sex is so powerful.
Mm-hmm. I picked up on something you said and have a question about it.
Go for it.
That's what happened to Lalo. I need the Lalo lore crack. Feel free to email me that. He seems like an individual I should dive into a little bit more. He's kind of an asshole though, but that's a whole nother story. From what I've seen, he hasn't come for me yet, but he will pretty soon, I'm sure. You mentioned this woman was the director of this performance group, had a position of power. He was the lead, actor. She confided in him. She took him under her wing, so to say. She nurtured him and groomed him. You mentioned when you were talking about her, you were saying like she came in like a mommy figure and she abused him. And my question for you is, can both things be true? Can a predator, female, we're talking females, can they nurture and be a mommy figure and take care of you emotionally and show you things and teach you things, but also prey upon you at the same time?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So, can you say more about that? Because I think especially in this polarized thinking world that we have, black and white, I don't think that abstraction sits well with a lot of people. Can you explain how both of those things can exist?
Because the thing is, when you're entering that type of situation, this woman is now, she's, again, you're younger. Like he's 15, 16. She's 30, 29, 30. She's telling him things. She's letting him know. I mean, of course, she's got him in her spider web. She's letting you know not only that you're handsome, but she's giving him that encouragement. You can do this. Oh, don't look down on yourself like that. Or do you need some advice on stuff? He's going to start talking to her like it's his friend. And she's going to reciprocate that. She's going to try to teach him things. It could be, hey, mom, I'm going out. He tells her mom, hey, mom, I'm going out hang with my friend. He going out to hang with her because she's got him trapped. She's got him conditioned. And she might teaching him how to cook, teaching him how to drive. Getting the resume ready. Meanwhile, letting him know, this is going to happen to you tonight, but in a nicer way. But he don't know no better. Not fully. So she's simultaneously acting in numerous roles. She is overall the predator, but she's also giving that mommy influence. She's being the friend, the guidance. She's given a very layered complexity of roles that people want to separate, but you can't, because it's all encompassing.
It's all the same. Yeah.
Yep.
It goes back to your quote. Now I'm gonna quote you of using kindness for weakness. Like these are all tactics.
Kindness is a weapon.
Yeah, kindness is a weapon. Yeah, kindness is a weapon. Because like, and it didn't hit me till a couple episodes ago when we were listening to that guy who had the yellow shirt on, when he was talking about how you can go from city to city. Where I was like, man, this shit is really tactical. Like these people are like Navy SEALs of predators. Like they're thinking like 5 chess moves ahead to keep this thing operating. And they might not. This is where my brain gets kind of stuck. They're planning and plotting and figuring all this out, and it's like, where did they learn? Like, where do you learn this multi-dimensional thinking to prey upon children? Like, is there a fucking book or a documentary? Like, where are they getting it? It's just ingrained in them to have their desires kind of, manifest, and they just figure out ways to make it work. It is fascinating. It's really
the problem is with the guys, I actually do have to separate this. I think the men do have to, they have to be on some Jason Bourne. They have to be trained. They train themselves, but whereas the women, society's already given them the excuses. They already know. This is why you're seeing so much of it being exposed. But this isn't like, again, it's not new or nothing, because I know it was happening, because it happened to my mom when she was a little girl. So I know it's been happening. However, we give women excuses instead of just flat out calling it what it is. They're predatory. No,
Yeah.
she raped that little boy. Just that serious.
Yeah.
But they take that word, they take the word rape out of the equation and replace it with something else when you shouldn't. No, you sexually assaulted that boy or girl, because that happens too.
Here's another clip from 6 months ago. This is out of, I don't know where this is actually. We'll just check it out. They'll let us know.
A breaking news update. A bond hearing was held in Greenville for a former teacher accused of abusing a teenage boy. She had a previous bond hearing last week in Anderson, and Clemson police say charges could be pending
South Carolina
in their jurisdiction as well. Our Taylor Farmer has more from Greenville.
Nicole Callahan is facing more than 10 charges in Greenville County. The judge set bond for each charge during her hearing.
I'm going to set a surety bond on each of these in the amount of $10,000 as they did at Anderson, for a total of $120,000 surety.
Former Homeland Park primary teacher Nicole Callahan was arrested last week in Anderson County for the sexual abuse of a 14-year-old boy back in 2021. She's now facing similar charges in Greenville County, where the alleged victim attended school. According to the victim's mother, Callahan was a director at Project Challenge Playhouse, where her son first met Callahan while auditioning for a play. The victim's mother says she believed at the time Callahan was serving as a mentor.
On May 22nd, 2025, the Greenville Police Department received a report from investigators from the Anderson County Sheriff's Office regarding the sexual assault case, listing Nicole Blue Callahan as the suspect.
The detective handling the case says the alleged abuse lasted for 2 years. In Greenville, Callahan faces 8 counts of criminal sexual conduct with a minor and 4 counts of unlawfully placing a child at risk for allegedly providing the victim with alcohol. As she entered the courtroom Monday, Callahan smiled at people in attendance, including her family and fiance.
Ms. Callahan is 8 to 9 weeks pregnant.
Callahan's attorney asked the court to
surprise,
consider her presumed innocence and requested a surety bond be set. He argues she needs prenatal care and is not a danger to the community. The judge granted bond, but with several conditions.
Really?
Will be placed under house arrest with GPS monitoring, have no contact with the victim, and must undergo both a mental and psychological evaluation to determine if she's competent to stand trial. The judge also established a red zone, prohibiting her from coming within a mile of the victim's residence in Anderson. Callahan's attorney thanked the judge as she turned and smiled at him before she was escorted out by police.
I'm going to give a biased opinion there in a second, but she's pregnant. She gets bond. She's done this in more than one county. What are your thoughts on that?
The halo effect in work right here. That was annoying to listen to.
Why were you annoyed? What got you big mad? What happened?
Man, they basically gave her a slap on the wrist. And then they're also talking about, hey, we're going to put you through therapy. We're going to see, hey, if you're okay, you're mentally okay to stand trial at least. What do you mean? She's a predator. She goes under the jail too. Because if this was a guy, we're not putting him under some psych evaluation. We know you did. We know you wanted to do it. He's not sick. But it's a woman, and this is what I need people to be aware of. You literally just saw. He's never. Universal's never seen this. This is a brand new video. You're seeing it right here.
No, I literally just looked these clips up as we were talking.
There's a slap on the wrist.
I have another one from 2 weeks ago. We'll see where this one goes. It's fascinating. Well, let me speak on a little bit. I wonder if they gave her a little bit of leeway because she's pregnant.
I mean, God, this sounds bad, but let's be real. Because one, she's a woman, and yes, because she's pregnant, they're gonna look at that. That ends up being part of the setup at the end of the day. She just uses that to her advantage. Hey, I'm pregnant. You wouldn't do this to a pregnant woman, right?
Mm.
And you can tell this ain't the first time.
No, she's got another charge in a different county.
Yeah.
But again, that fits our pattern too. Like, these people will hop county to county, city to city, and just continue their perpetration. And based on the thing that the guy in the yellow shirt said, I would try to manipulate. If I got one, I'm gonna try to manipulate their friends if I can. So who knows how many victims they end up having overall. So, Good Crack says there was an Onion parody video where the judge told the jury to imagine a teen white girl defendant as a big black man. yeah. I think we have to be real about the stereotypical biases that we have and how they do play out and how we make judgments on things, whether that's a gender-based thing, race-based thing, etc. And I think in these cases, women do get a lot more leeway than male predators should. When it should be equal across the board, because I think the intensity of the situation calls for more equality across the board. Anything on that before I go to the next?
No, you can go for it.
All right, so this is from 2 weeks ago. Former Littleton bus aide pleads guilty to child abuse case. I think this is a sexual abuse.
For Littleton Public Schools pleaded guilty today after being accused of abusing 3 nonverbal autistic children. This case has been going on for nearly 2 years after parents reported noticing injuries on their children. Sophia Villalba with Scripps News Group in Denver has details on the plea deal.
Kiara Jones has pleaded guilty to 10 felonies and 2 misdemeanors in an exchange for a 13th charge to be dropped. Now, this all stems from her allegedly abusing 3 nonverbal boys with severe autism. And families of the victim say that they've been waiting for nearly 2 years for justice and accountability to be taken.
Each one of us have kids that get scared every time they see a school bus driving by. That my son still walks with a limp from what she did to my kid. So this is going to be a lifelong process.
School bus video from 2024 shows Jones hitting a 10-year-old boy several times. According to the chief deputy district attorney for Arapahoe County, class 6 felonies each carry 18 months in prison, which could mean...
She reminds me of... We just talked about her.
Mm-hmm.
Baby D.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this woman's more physical than sexual, but I think there was some sexual inappropriate contact too. But she's got that demeanor.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the braids, but it's just like that. It's the demeanor. It's the energy she's giving off. Fascinating. All right.
You could see a maximum prison sentence of 15 years. The attorney for the families says the exact sentencing depends on if the judge decides to run the sentences consecutively or at the same time. This guilty plea is something the DA says was a long time coming.
When we give our children to other people to take care of them, we want to know that they are being taken care of and that they are safe. That's a premise that we have to exist on.
Jones's sentencing is set for March 18th, and the district attorney does say that victim statements will be read at that time. In Centennial, Sophia Villalba, Denver 7.
All right.
Well, they got justice served for something.
Man. What do you think the schools' roles are in these situations? We're most talking about
Close case people versus Corey Harris.
Judges.
Say it again.
What do you think the schools or the institution's role is in these situations?
See, I personally, there are track records where it does show that the schools are aware of some incidents, but they don't bring it out to the light. Unfortunately, a lot of things get covered up until it's brought to the light. And then they got to throw whoever the perpetrator is under the bus. Some do care, but we often show that there's a lot that don't.
Mm-hmm.
And so this becomes the situation of we know something's going on, but it's none of our business because we probably doing something dirty too. But then again, reputation is everything.
Gotcha.
We got to look at the Discord, some of the Discord stuff too.
Oh yeah, I'll pull it up next. I did have one more question. This will lead to some Discord stuff. So, if we assume that certain people are safe by default, women, how does that affect our ability to actually protect children?
I mean, we're not protecting the children. It's already affected our ability to protect the children because we're not. I mean, we have to literally stop assuming people are safe, though. We got to stop assuming that it's like you said, we got to get rid of the mommy complex for one, but we have to really stop assuming that, hey, this is like a good person. This is like a safe person. There's a comment I've used for over a decade. And I used to unfortunately, I used to tell people this to their face. I wouldn't trust you around my sister.
Now, that's a harsh thing to just say to somebody outright. Like, well, what? How would you, like, you would just say it? Like, you just be like, yo.
I mean, I listened to them talk. And even if it was a girl I was dating, trust me, they will tell you. I tell them point blank, yeah, I wouldn't let you babysit my sister.
And what would give you the vibe? Like, how would you get to that conclusion?
Because you don't look, to me, you don't look safe. You don't look like someone that is protective. You look like, or you talk like someone that would let either their child get assaulted, or you would be ignorant of your surroundings and your child would get assaulted. You just look, or you just are ignorant of the reality around you. But I'm blunt with that. And I still say it. You know, I point blank be like, yeah, this don't look like someone I would ever trust to babysit my sister. Shit, I wouldn't even trust this person around my little brother. But that's how my mind works.
You have a unique mind when it comes to this type of activity, man. Most people would never say that to someone.
But
they may feel it. They may even think it, but they would never come out and be like, yo, I would never trust you around my child or my sister or whatever. They would never say that.
I got to keep it 100 though. I mean, that's me though. And don't get me wrong. I know it can make you feel some type of way, but you've given me that interpretation at that point. And I have to let you know something's wrong. Because people, you know, they see me, they know me, they know I love my siblings. When you open up my wallet, you'll see my siblings right there first thing. They'd be like, oh, I had a girl really be like, oh, you know, that's so cute. Is that your daughter? I'm like, no, that's my sister. Oh, man, you know, I would love to meet her. No, I would never trust you around my sister.
I'm scared to see what Lionel's dates look like sometimes.
Y'all what?
I would love to just have you wear like some AI Google glasses and go on a date. And like she's like, so what do you do for work? You're like, yeah, I do X, Y, and Z. And then your question is, have you abused a child recently? He's like, what the hell? And not to make light of the situation, but you just get straight to it sometimes.
I've developed that character. That's a character trait of mine. You know, you have to be, and it'd be random. Like people don't see it coming. Unfortunately for them, but they don't see it coming.
Mm-hmm.
You see how people react. And because I have studied in micro expressions, not saying they're always 100% accurate, I'm paying attention to your body language.
Yeah.
Immediately. I'm listening to what you're saying.
Interesting.
And
so does that change for women versus men?
No, same thing. I asked women too. That actually took me some time because I realized my own bias. And it was somebody. No, I know who it was. I'm not even gonna say it, but I know who it was. And it made me change my mentality. And just a little bit to the point where it was like I started asking women the same question. Because I realized, yeah, y'all need to be asked. Because now it's happened too much. And you got to be blunt with it. And I'm not telling people to go out and do that because I know how life can be.
I mean, I don't even think I can. I don't know. I don't think I can ask that question.
I know.
I think that'd just kill the whole vibe, bro. If I'm like, so when's the last time you abused a child? I was like, what? Like that's, but you would do that. You are unique in that way. I could never. I might get the vibe or the feel. I've never had the feeling or the vibe, but if I did, I'd probably be trying to figure out a way to like get out of the situation.
Oh, I understand that.
But yeah, so you wanted to hop into some of the research and stuff we put together. The first thing I pulled up was the white tiger dynamic and phenomenon. Can you explain to the audience what this is?
I'm trying to remember. Is this
if you remember
the girl? I don't know if this one's about the girl. I might have put that one in the wrong one.
And I wonder if I can find a clip on this too. I think clips always help to bring things.
Yeah, because I don't want to speak on that one just yet because I don't remember if that one was about. I think that one has to go into the other one. I might have put that one in the wrong one. Oh, it's on screen.
Yeah, 1 second. Pedophile ring. There's no videos on this one. Let's see. Nope. All right, we'll come back to this one. All right. Any particular one you want me to cover real quick? That was
the teacher sobbing after sexting.
Okay. All right. I got you.
No sympathy.
Let's see. All right, here we go. It's like, thank you all for coming on by. Yes, this is not the easiest topic. We're not up here clowning around. We're actually diving into something serious that impacts so many different people in society. Salute to Chaos Ring. Salute to EAE. Salute to Get Cracked for being here. Salute to Craig for coming on by twice. He left and came back. Salute to Gary and salute to who else was here? Somebody else was here. Vanta was here, who brought Craig on over. So salute to all of you and riding high with low, of course, as always. So here's Teacher Sabi. You gotta let me know where to go and when to stop this one because it's a pretty long clip.
Go for it.
A fifth grader and his teacher.
A middle school teacher who admitted to kissing her fifth grade student, a boy who was just 11 years old, will now spend her Christmas in prison. Madison Bergman appeared before a judge to hear the decision about her punishment for sexual misconduct. We're taking a closer look at what the victim's father had to say on his behalf and Bergman's behavior in this latest court hearing. I'm Anjanette Levy, and this is Crime Fix.
She did not age well. She looked real young in those photos. She looks way older here.
We share so many.
That stress must have got to her.
As they're unfolding, well, here's a little secret. Opus Clip is an all-in-one AI.
Salute to Opus Clips. Good AI software. Definitely highly recommend it. They ain't paying me, so we're about to skip this shit. Let's go.
Understand.
Opus Clip means our producers composed. 26-year-old Madison Bergman took a plea deal in a St. Croix County, Wisconsin courtroom. She agreed to plead guilty to 3 counts, 1 count of child enticement.
This is really close to me. That's not.
Dang.
That's like an hour away from where I'm at. That's crazy. Yeah, St. Croix.
Maybe right next door.
Yeah, literally. Like that's like not far at all.
Back at the end of September, 26-year-old Madison Bergman took a plea deal in a St. Croix County, Wisconsin courtroom. She agreed to plead guilty to 3 counts, 1 count of child enticement, and 2 counts of sexual misconduct by a teacher or member of school staff. In exchange, prosecutors agreed to seek a sentence of no more than 12 years in prison. Well, on Friday, December 19th, Bergman sat before the judge in an orange jumpsuit where she heard details about her punishment confirmed for the court record. Now, before we dive into the specifics of Bergman's prison sentence, I want to give you a quick recap of how we got here. And I'll warn you, the details are incredibly disturbing. Madison Bergman was a 5th grade teacher at Rivercrest Elementary School in Hudson, Wisconsin. She was engaged to be married. Life looked pretty good, but then it all came crashing down around.
First of all, I'm not joking. I said it's an hour away. It's actually closer than that. It's like 15 minutes away from me. It's like right there. She's engaged to be married. She's 26. I'm assuming she's not even 30 yet. She looks like she's 45. She looks like she's just been through hell. What are your thoughts on what you've heard so far before we get into her acts?
It's just in my head, like 26. You add this piece of information about to get married. Well, why are you interested in an 11-year-old? Like, what's there for you?
I have a question for you. I got a question.
Go for it.
Get a little spicy with this. Based on your research, and I don't even know if they have this level of research, but it makes me think. Do these women, are they unfulfilled sexually with their husbands? And that leads to them being interested in more power control sexually with these children? Because a lot of them have partners. I've seen a couple of videos where, like, I seen one video, they pulled up on the teacher with her guy and her husband. He's like, "What the hell's going on?" And she's in this weird space of like explaining why she's getting arrested, and then she's trying to ask him to like bail her out and all this. Anyway, but I wonder like if there is any information out there on their own sexual dynamic with their partner. We'll use that term. Versus how they are engaging with these how they're preying on these children. I wonder if there's something there.
So we're gonna actually, I'm noting that in my head. We're gonna come to that. Personal, it's personal, but it's not. This ain't happened to me, but I have talked about this before, and I know somebody that he was telling me about how a wife of another teacher she was in the newspapers, and she was in a newspaper. She's a little over 30, but she was messing with a 14-year-old. And then when she got questioned, she said that she was messing with the 14-year-old because her husband's penis was too small.
Interesting.
She outright stated that she was not satisfied.
Why not just get another man then? Like, why would you get a
line.
boy?
So she went to a child. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, that dude's been emasculated. He can't recover from that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point too. Like,
he can't recover from that. So now there's 2 victims now.
Do you think it cuts deeper if you were cheated on and your woman cheated on you with a child than if it was another guy?
Yeah. How can it not?
It would have to cut deep, man.
How can it not?
It would have to cut
You're
deep.
a grown man, you know. It's not like, I mean, and this person, I mean, he had a job, you know. He was helping children, helping the youth. He was doing his thing, you know. He was the breadwinner, but because he was physically small, his wife went to a child to be pleasured and, you know, assault the child. Now it's 2 victims.
Wow. All right, well, let's roll the tape and figure out, because I think she feels like the victim here.
You saw her crying, right?
Yeah, I want to see if this is guilt or shame or what is this. We're about to find out.
Her in May of 2024 when a young boy's parents brought printouts of texts between their 11-year-old and his teacher. Texts like this one, which was included in a criminal complaint against Bergman. The victim said, "Ha ha, bro, I just want to make out with you." Bergman said, "I do too, like all the time." Bergman wrote, "Also today, when you said, I know you're mad, but I want to kiss you. Oh my gosh, I wanted to grab your face and just push you to the floor and make out with you." The victim wrote, "Ha ha, for real. I love to kiss you on the ground too. Ha ha." Bergman wrote, "I almost kissed you when you were on the ground today, but I got distracted by your stomach." Those texts were apparently in reference to the first time Bergman had intimate contact with the boy. According to a criminal complaint, when the other kids left the classroom, she approached him and kissed him on the mouth. He described himself as sitting on the ground immediately after the kiss, as he couldn't believe that it happened and the fact that it was his first kiss. He then got up, gave Bergman a hug, and left the classroom to catch the school bus. According to the complaint, the victim admitted he and Bergman had kissed several times and touched each other in class, but in a way that no one could see. A school resource officer testified during a preliminary hearing last year that Bergman and the 11-year-old shared more than 30,000 messages with one another. They also wrote love notes to each other, which police reportedly found among Bergman's possessions when she was arrested. In one of those letters, police say she wrote, "One of my cousins is in the 5th grade, and I can't imagine a man talking to her how we talk. I know we have a special relationship, and I do love you more than anyone in the world, but I have to be the adult here and stop."
Wow.
Wow.
What do you think about that? Wow.
All I can say is wow. Like, that's all I can say.
So the admission of guilt right there, right? She knows what I'm doing is wrong. She even admits it to him. But does she stop? I mean, obviously she's infatuated with this child.
Do you ask
or
does she
the situation. Or both.
But she's this is what I mean. She's already manipulating him.
Tell the audience where the manipulation is here. I think I catch it, but some people might not. Where do you see manipulation in this?
I mean, listen to what she's saying. One of my cousins is in the 5th grade, and I can't imagine a man talking to her how we talk. I know we have a special relationship, and I do love you more than anyone in the world. I mean, she's got him trapped.
Mm-hmm.
She's got him trapped. She's making him feel special.
Yeah, I know this is wrong, but you're so special that it makes it right.
Yeah.
Who else is gonna give you this much love and attention and what you do for me? I want to stop, but I'm gonna keep going. Yeah, this is a yo-yo play. It's like a tug of war type thing. Fascinating. Wow. Damn. These people are nasty, man.
Yeah.
All right. Shit's sick. Okay.
At first, Bergman denied all the allegations against her, but earlier this
How? He had 30,000 text messages.
Does this not remind you of the last guy who they was literally whipping out the food, and he was just
the guy that they were interrogating.
Yep.
Yeah, that was very eye opening too. That was very eye opening. You know, let me say something about America. This is the greatest country in the world. We give people a chance even when they are caught the most red-handed as possible. You still have the ability to say it wasn't me and a slight chance to be proven that it wasn't. All it takes is one F up from somebody, one human error, and you could be scot-free back on the streets doing your thing. People need to really stop disrespecting this country. Do we need to fix a lot of things? Absolutely. But just the fact that we have a justice system that allows a person like this to not even, I guarantee you she's not serving all full 10 years. I hope so.
Yeah.
But I doubt it. I don't even know the ends of this case. We'll skip through and find out. But like, this is our justice system. It literally gives people opportunity. Is there bias in there? Absolutely. but you still got an opportunity to your freedom. This lady is dead red-handed caught, and she still has the ability to get out of this. That's fascinating. Fascinating. Jesus. All right.
This year, she changed her plea, agreeing to admit her guilt on 3 charges in exchange for a possibly reduced sentence.
Ms. Bergman is going to enter pleas of guilty to count 3 child enticement. There is a lifetime supervision of serious sex offenders. Enhance her on that at this time. She's also admitting to that. Count 6, sexual misconduct by school staff, and count 8, sexual misconduct by school staff. Based on those pleas, the state is moving to dismiss but read in all of the other counts for purposes of sentencing. We are jointly recommending a PSI be done, and the state is to cap their in-custody recommendation at 12 years at the time of sentencing.
Bergman teared up during her plea hearing and full-on sobbed, I'm telling you, during the sentencing. The father of the 11-year-old victim, who is now 13, spoke on his son's behalf.
My son actually asked that I read this, so I thought my subject did this in the right spot. So my name's Tico, and I'm the father of the victim. And trying to capture the breadth and depth of the damage caused by Madison is impossible. There's no way in a few minutes to really fully convey how far her actions have reached into my son's life and into our family's life. But I will do the best to give a clear window into what we now live with every day. So since this happened, my son was just kind of a normal kid, doing normal kid things, playing sports. But now he has to live with the consequences of her decisions. He faces things where he gets bullied at school on a regular basis. Even, over a year later, they whisper as he walks through the hallway, says, "Is that the kid? Is that the kid that got his teacher in trouble?" These are the types of things that this 11-year-old has had to deal with. And then he had anxiety, and he's had to go to counseling for that. So anxiety, nightmares, constant stress, constantly wondering, where did his simple childhood go? And even most recently, and the thing I wanted to underscore too is like, this isn't a past tense thing. This is the last 7 days. I'm not going to go into this ad nauseum, but just that I want to kind of convey the everyday impact. So we go to basketball practice, it's scheduled. Also, we look at the schedule. It's the schedule at Rivercrest Elementary where he went. The last time both he and I were there was the day Ms. Bergman got taken out of school, right, and pulled out of there. So very triggering. But then as a dad, I have to ask him, again, are you okay having practice there? I've got to trust his judgment. I have to then think about, do I ask the coaches and give them a heads up? Because this isn't something that we necessarily want broadcast in our small community, right? And then the next day, he's kind of off. And then I'm like, is it because he's just a kid? Or is it because something was triggering for him? I mean, so there's this whole cascade of things that you would think like, oh, we're going to basketball practice. And it gets exacerbated by this. And this was last week. This wasn't, right after. These things still come up. And then, I reread the text, right? Because I have access to all these things too, because they're on my son's phone. And the thing that to me is like, about all this and why I wanted to say something, or my son wanted me to say something is, in his own words, he's like, I have to live with this forever. He's like, whatever punishment she receives should be forever. Right? I mean, he doesn't necessarily know what that means, right?
I definitely know what she was sending him, what else she was texting him. So I could see what type of manipulation she was really going. But I mean, that one text alone tells you how much she got into his head.
Yeah, I think so. A few things that the father said that has my brain over here ticking is like,
let me hear it.
As a parent, there's going to be some things that he's going to have to do given the circumstances that are taking place, where he's got to protect his child's mental health. He's going to have to move that kid's school. That's the first thing. I'm like, why the fuck is he still at the same school?
We're wondering that.
Like you have, it might be online school. Hell, you might have to put your kid in private school if you can afford it, but you got to take him out of that same environment. Even if it sounds like he might have went to like middle school or something, but that is too close for comfort. If kids are whispering and all that, that is further traumatizing this kid. The second thing that I think all people need to understand, and this is why I really don't use the term heal. Even when I practice, I stopped talking about heal because a lot of the work that I did is trauma-based work, and you don't heal trauma. It doesn't happen. Hate to bust people's bubble. It's healing. It's a process of effort. It's something that you have to keep working towards and working at. Even if the impact of the incident isn't the same, the stuff that you've gone through never goes away. That kid told his father the truth. So I'm going to have to live with this forever. That's the facts. It's not going to impact him the same way as it does now, maybe in like 20 years, but he's still going to live with it. It's going to impact his relationships. It's going to impact his ability to parent if he becomes one. Is he going to trust his kids with teachers or any other adults? Like, it's going to impact a lot. So I don't think it's good for us to use the term heal. I think that's cope and bullshit that has been placed in the world of psychology to give people false hope, when the reality is they need to learn how to process and deal with the stuff they've gone through throughout their lifespan, period. It sounds like this kid has some frustration and is very verbal about how he feels about how this woman has shown up to him. So I think that that's fascinating as well, that he's saying, hey, if I got to live with this, she needs to live with something too. And again, back to this justice system, as beautiful as it is, it gives people the opportunity to finesse it and take advantage. And this lady, even with her sobbing, is getting an easy break here.
Yeah.
And that's if she gets the max sentence of 10 years. She's 26 years old, man. She'll be out before she's 40. She has an opportunity to still live a decent life. Now she's going to be labeled as a sex offender, but she ain't going to be in jail.
Do you hear how loud her sobbing is? I know I said it before, but it's loud.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm over here sitting in I'm just like, who are you playing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You were crying when you was texting them.
No, man. She, again, that high emotional wave, that control. She's horny. The hormones are raging. And she knows she's going to get that immediate attention from that kid. Let me send him a picture of my boobs and watch him respond or whatever. Like, that shit's sick, bro. I don't know. Yeah, that would be a great idea, man. I guarantee the school districts wouldn't want to buy it because if they cared about this issue, they would do something about it. They don't even have like predator awareness in schools. They took DARE out of schools. They're not gonna do any of this. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I guarantee you, and I do this. I do trainings, professional developments for education, all levels. I've never been called one time to talk about sexual abuse. I've talked about trauma. I talked about ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, that touches on sexual abuse. I've never been asked to come talk specifically about the sexual abuse of children, ever. And I've made a lot of money doing speaking and training in this area. And I'm known as a trauma expert around the country. You can Google it. So it's pretty interesting. What's up, Urban? Welcome.
I want to know how the ending of this go. We can go to the end.
Right. Yeah, we can scourge through here a little bit. Let's see. She's speaking. Maybe we want to hear her speak.
Oh yeah. Let's hear from the predator.
What she's got to say.
For the opportunity to speak.
Man, that's a hard 26, man. She looked old as shit, bro. Jeez. I think she's 28. They said she was 26 when it happened. And this was about a year or two ago. Oh, no, this was a month ago. Yeah, she's like 28 years old. Man, that's a hard 28 right there, boy.
That stress killed her, man.
Whew. That's Wisconsin, too, though.
I want to begin by expressing my deepest and most sincere apologies to the Huber family. I am so very sorry for the pain and stress that my actions have caused. There is no excuse for my mistaken choices and my mistaken actions. I want to make it absolutely clear that I take full accountability for every boundary that was crossed. I hope that your family has been able to begin to heal and find some peace in your lives again. I know the journey will be long for your family as well as mine. Your Honor, I do believe in the justice system and people being held accountable for their mistakes. I believe that that looks different for every person. And in my case, there's not only the current punishment of being incarcerated, but many lifelong punishments to come. I have lost the teaching license that I studied and worked for 4 years. I will never again be able to pursue my passion.
Who wrote this for her?
Children.
Go ahead.
Who wrote this for her?
She wrote it. She's playing victim.
Man, I don't want to hear this.
You don't want to hear about how she lost her teacher's license?
No, I don't want to hear that crap.
Why
Man,
not, man?
Dude,
She made a mistake and lost her passion.
Man, she consistently made a mistake. What was it, 15,000 messages?
30,000.
That's a lot of mistakes.
30,000 text messages and handwritten notes.
That is a lot of mistakes. That's a
Wow.
lot of mistakes, bro.
The accountability, bro. I mean, I hate to laugh and you gotta have some joy in talking about this. But this is the irrational nature of this stuff. Again, these people are tacticians. These people are very strategic. And even when caught, she's escaping accountability. Like, she started strong and it's gotten pretty damn weak.
Yeah.
At this point.
No, you have to laugh because it is funny. It's just not in a humorous way per se. It's bad. It's a bad joke.
Who you don't know who this is? Do you know Dalmatian Dog is? This is funny.
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Salute to Crack. I know.
That's a lot of mistakes. Like, dude.
But that's not even the biggest thing though, Lionel. I mean, she has had physical sexual contact with this 11-year-old. Like the messaging is bad, but she has had sex with this kid at school.
And some kids saw them. Some kids saw because they got reports, but they also got incidents where they made it that the kids couldn't see, but it don't stop the fact that other people did see it. So, how many mistakes can you make?
Pretty nasty, man. Pretty nasty.
If I step on my cat's tail, my bad. My bad. I didn't see you.
Damn,
That's a mistake.
She talks for 3 more minutes. We'll give her another minute before we just
go ahead.
Do this.
In any sense, I will be on the sex offender registry for the rest of my life. This is going to greatly impact the future I had envisioned for myself, including having a family and children of my own.
Get the hell out of here.
Now she can still have a family and children of her own. She's still gonna be labeled a sex offender though.
She's making it sound like this ruined her chances of doing it. And this was her dream. But when you look at them text messages, it's starting to sound like the dream was to have it with this child.
Exactly. Maybe that's what she's mad about. Let's go.
Different career paths, and even, buying a home or deciding where to live. I fully understand and accept this consequence, but I also ask the court to recognize how profound and life-altering it already is. It is a daily reminder of the impact my hurtful choices have had on others, and it will remain with me for the rest of my life. Additionally, because of the worldwide media coverage of my case, I will be facing ridicule from strangers and friends forever. The media coverage has not only already affected my life and feeling of security and safety, but also my entire family's. My name is in connection to our family business, which has led to online harassment of not only me, but my whole family and their means of making a living. Before being arrested in May of 2024, I was in a deeply unhealthy and emotionally abusive relationship that caused me to become isolated from friends and family. I allowed that emotional vulnerability and isolation to cloud my judgment and alter my ability to process the reality of my inappropriate and harmful decisions. However, Your Honor, since then, I have begun to find healing and growth for myself through being back in the safety and support of my family. as well as participating in talk therapy and sex offender
Oh,
therapy.
no.
Lastly, Your Honor, I would like you to consider the time that I spent in the community on bail. Excuse me. During that time, I was compliant with every restriction placed upon me, including not having contact or communication with my 3 younger step-siblings for months until it was approved by the court, not having contact or communication with anyone under the age of 18, which includes all of my cousins. I also remained off the internet, had no phone, and had no online or phone contact with anyone other than my lawyer for 17 months. I also stayed within the radius I was given while on and off of GPS monitoring. I'm not seeking to avoid punishment. I'm already facing lifelong consequences, but I am asking for the opportunity to prove that I am willing and wanting to be a productive, law-abiding member of society. I will never be able to undo the damage I have caused, but I'm committed to doing everything I can to ensure that I never harm another person. Thank you, Judge Nordstrom.
The judge.
Wow. You know, something that most people are not going to be aware of is Hudson, Wisconsin, and that St. Croix County is very small. A lot of those people know each other. When you're talking about that family business, I guarantee your family business is done. Because they're like, hell no, we're not supporting you guys. And it might be a big family business. That's not a big town. It's not a big town. It's right on the border of Wisconsin and Minnesota. A lot of people who live in Hudson work in Minnesota, and there's people who live in Minnesota work in Hudson. Very small community. People know each other. And for her to do that, I'm sure it has brought great shame to her family. But that you got to take accountability for that, man. I get it though. When you're back against the wall, you're gonna try to say and do whatever you can to get out of it. But she's cooked. She would honestly, the best thing for her to do is to leave Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I guess she can't because she's gonna be a sex.
Yup.
So she might as well go because she's on the west end of the state. She might as well go to like the east end. She's cooked. Now she can still have a family. That can still happen. She can look up on somebody, but you ain't never gonna be a teacher again. And you could probably buy a house, but it ain't gonna be that easy. Yeah, but yeah, she's cooked, man. Any thoughts on that? That was some bullshit she was talking.
I want to hear what you about to say about the judge.
Oh, okay. This woman or the
that woman.
Okay, all right.
Addressed some of the prior statements and gave his thoughts on Bergman's actions. He also discussed some of the most twisted texts that Bergman and the boy exchanged. It gives us some insight into what was going on. And I have to warn you, it's really, really hard to hear these, especially when you think about the vulnerability of this 11-year-old boy. He was just 11.
Now, one could easily minimize the gravity of these offenses and make, I think, an effective argument to a limited degree that there was not the level of sexual contact, I think, Mr. Gambarino, that you were talking about in these other cases. And I think that's a fair argument. That, however, has to hold up against the other reality in this case, and that is what happened here. It's not the same. It's not like many of those other cases. It's a different kind of terrible, frankly. So what do we know about the facts? We have an 11-year-old boy, a 5th grader, first contact with the defendant as a 4th grader, I think that's what was reflected. The contact, the personal contact is happening in school, and it began to increase during his 5th grade year when Ms. Bergman became his teacher. She was even surprised that he was assigned to her class because there was some concern about them being friends before that 5th grade started.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, he was. First message. I should say emails that exchanged between the two were
minute.
from November 29 of 23 to October 29 of 23, according.
Bro, this is text messages. I can understand. Emailing a fucking fifth grader is crazy.
She wanted him. That was her target.
Bro, I don't even think I know my kids have emails. I set up emails for them, but their school also has emails.
Mm-hmm.
My middle schooler, she emails for school. I've never seen a fifth grader email anybody. This is insane.
But
wow.
it goes back to that first message when I told you how deep that manipulation went. We don't even have this information yet, but that one message where she told him about how much she loved him and how special she was, the boy was caught.
Mm.
And I told you he had already been caught because we don't know the gravity of how much else she told him. But now we're looking at a fourth grade situation going into fifth grade with emails now, along with the text.
Mm.
Again, she was conditioning him. She was filling him up with what was necessary to keep him latched on. And of course, physical touch started minimum. He a little boy. Now it's increasing a little bit.
Wow.
He's a victim.
Wow. Urban says she is not crying about what she did. She's crying about the consequences. If she never got caught, she wouldn't be acting like this. That is true.
That's what Universal was trying to peep earlier.
And you can hear it in what she's claiming. Like, I lost all these things. It's harming all. It's nothing about her actions. She's like, yeah, I understand I did that, but look at where my life is headed. That is the worst type of apology.
Like, I said, who wrote this? But yeah, go ahead.
She probably wrote it.
According to the investigating officer, there were 34 emails.
34 emails.
Nothing untoward specifically, but nothing about learning, or I think that's the way the officer referred to it. Nothing about learning from the teacher.
She knew what she was doing.
The 11-year-old. Then a couple of months go by and we get to December 26th of 23 for the first message. The last message I saw was from about April 29. Total text 35,429.
35,429 text messages.
That's a lot of mistakes, man.
I don't think I don't know if I've texted anybody that much. I have to go.
I don't know if I text anybody that much.
Jesus Christ. That's a lot of texting.
So between those dates, I did some math, Ms. Oden, and I came up with about 125 days or 283 texts per day.
Dang. Might as well just been on the phone all day. When this boy got time to learn? But she didn't care. I know how I sound. But that's the reality. She wasn't. This was about her. That's what I'm trying to say. This was absolutely about her. That boy was her target. And she was making sure she did what she had to do to groom him.
Now, at one point, the boy gets in her class. Think about the amount of time and communication these two have with each other. At one point, she becomes his student. He becomes her student. She's texting him at least 200 sometimes a day, and emails. Like, this lady had a possession of this kid, and the parents. I'm assuming the parents had to know a little bit because the school was caught on, but they're a little too friendly. Somebody had to notice something for that to come out.
I didn't want to bring that up just yet, but I've been definitely something about the dad I wanted to say, but I just didn't want to bring it up yet.
All right. We'll keep it going. You tell me when to stop or
But
where to go.
This is ridiculous on its face. Now, I'm a 67-year-old judge, so I may not text like some, but this level of contact between a 24-year-old teacher and an 11-year-old student going to an elementary school here in Hudson is unbelievable. And then when you start reading what's in the text, we've seen a lot of the details. I don't want to go through that, but I do want to just list off some of the topics that were discussed over time that I identified. Touching each other, kissing, pushing against each other, touching the victim's chest, feeling heart beating, physical characteristics of each other, dreaming about each other, female sexual arousal, female menstruation, devices used for sexual arousal.
Oh, dang.
Licking body parts, touching victim's stomach, the victim's own sexual arousal, touching legs, expressions of love. I'm so in love with you.
It's just going.
I mean,
I see you in the morning. This is crazy, in a sense. I don't know why she did this, why she did it for so long, why she continued to bring up new and more salacious details to talk about with an 11-year-old boy. I don't know what level of supervision will be necessary to prevent her from doing this again.
That's where I was going.
We have varying opinions about the need for incarceration, about as varied as they can be. 12 years, 1 year. But I will say this, for purposes of my conclusions here today, I do believe incarceration in the Wisconsin prison system is necessary to protect the public.
The judge also talked about an evaluation submitted by an expert on psychosexual behavior. It was included as part of the pre-sentencing investigation report.
The PSI writer says, Ms. Bergman reported all of the things she and EH said to each other in their text messages did not actually happen. She said they pretended those things did happen, but she was texting the victim on how she wanted her significant other, I'm not going to use the name here, to be with her. The defendant indicated she dissociated when she texted the victim and was thinking of an adult, specifically the fiance, when she sent the victim messages. Ms. Bergman stated the messages were things she wanted the fiance to do to her and how she wanted the fiance to act toward her. The defendant reported the sexual contact that she and the victim discussed in their messages did not occur. She stated they kissed each other only on the cheek and were creating a fantasy in their messages.
Methodical. This is the work of this is the work of a tactician now.
When we end this series, our final episode has to be a deep dive into the psychology, this tactician mentality. We need to find as many clips of these predators talking about their own tactics and stuff. Because I'm telling you, man, I think we stumbled across something,
and that's why I keep
bigger than what I originally thought this was going to be. There's something going on in the mind of these people for them to have that level of focus and strategy. That shit doesn't come from nowhere.
It doesn't, and that's where I said kindness is it's a weapon. It's not a character trait. They're systematic. They are methodical. They are tacticians, and they show it, even when caught, how to be tactful. They know how to keep being manipulative. She literally got 35,000 mistakes of training. And she has a way now. She also had a whole situation, a whole fail-safe to bring into the fold to cover her bases. But you see this all the time. They had a story. This is not this, but they had a story of and I got to go to the opposite gender, but it was a dad who was abusing his daughter. And someone else had called CPS because the level of extremity behind it. But the dad was meticulous. He knew he was literally abusing her, but knew how to abuse her to the point where he didn't leave scars. He didn't leave bruises.
Mm-hmm.
Where he could keep repeating it, and had her mentally messed up to the point where obviously she was going to deny it. But they could clearly see something was going on. Like, these guys, these people, that's what happens. And with this woman, you just see a different form of assault, because that's what she's doing. She's assaulting this little boy, but in a different way.
Man.
The problem now is the parent. Because the parent, he's talking like he had no idea this was happening. You brought up he should have had some type of idea, but he's talking like he had no idea. I'm more inclined to believe he's a negligent parent because he's still keeping that boy in the school, getting picked on.
Right.
Mental health. He part of the problem.
This is insane, man.
And this is actually this is a perfect example of showing people how abuse isn't physical. The way people have to get that out of their mind. Because when they're looking at women, abuse can look different.
Yeah.
To reconstruct your mind to understand abuse is in various different ways. It's gonna look different for different people. And people are used to using, well, generally speaking, no. Generally speaking, it's chaos. Chaos is multiple layers. Just like this, you have other women that are using this level of abuse to condition these boys, to get them in a certain type of way. This boy's head is messed up. He's going to end up looking just like the other boy, broken. There's no way he doesn't. And he's at a young, impressionable age. But who's to say this is going to stop her? I mean, her going to prison not going to stop her. She's going to do it again. You see the level that she's done this, she's going to do it again. And again, she started when the boy was in 4th grade.
Yeah, this is a 2-year run for her before she got caught. I mean, she technically got caught, though. Like, that came out. She technically did get caught, but no one did anything. They were just like, oh, they were too friendly. That is bizarre. Like, nothing, I don't know. And again, I know a little bit about Hudson because it's literally like a stone throw. I could backflip into Hudson right now. And it's a smaller community. A lot of those people know each other. It's not a big town. So, you know, shit like that travels fast in those spaces and places. So I would assume you would say something. And then she comes from a family business, which who knows whatever that is, but her family's known where people are harassing them. So it's like, I'm pretty sure word got out.
People knew before word got out. That's the thing. People knew before word. They just was not the same.
That's one of the things that I think we have also uncovered in this series is that compliance is one of the things that allows this to happen. Collective compliance. People don't want to talk about this because it's uncomfortable. They don't want to see it, even though it's hidden in plain sight. And when it does show up, we minimize and reframe as much as possible. And that doesn't get the job done. And this lady, we can call it white tears or whatever, she can sit here and not take any accountability and say, hey, my life is ruined because of this. And there will be people that are gonna give her, some sympathy over this. They're gonna empathize with this lady. It's insane. All right, let's get through this so we can close it out, because man, this is 2 hours of fucking my head hurting. Oh, she's crying more. Oh God, here. Oh damn, my bad. I skipped through the judge. I forgot he was talking.
Their messages did not occur. She stated they kissed each other only on the cheek and were creating a fantasy in their messages. Right after reading the text to you, or some portion of the text, obviously, the PSI writer says the defendant indicated she does not remember sending them and felt lost and isolated from her family at the time. She stated she was looking to feel wanted and was not getting that from her fiance. Ms. Bergman said she's not sure how this situation with the victim occurred and would never say any of these things she said to him to someone her own age. The defendant reported she felt stupid and like a pushover at the time, but the victim told her it was not a big deal and to keep exchanging messages with him. Now, this is all completely backwards.
Okay, real quick, even on that, that's a manipulation tactic. She adultified that kid. She put her emotions, she downloaded her emotions onto him and put him in a position where now he's empathizing with her, which keeps him caught into the cycle. Does that make sense?
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. That makes complete sense because, like you said, adultified, this is also another form of abuse that she's given to this kid.
Yeah. You keep talking to me. I'm here for you, shit like that. Shit.
I want to see what what he gonna do to her, because I do want to see
adult in
to go through
the room is
for Discord posts.
All right. It's the most replay, so maybe it's here.
What I saw in those texts, and I'll conclude here on this topic, is an exercise of control by a 24-year-old woman who should have known better and for reasons I don't understand, continued to do this for months on end, despite her consciousness of guilt.
According to local reporters in the courtroom, Bergman started crying the moment she entered the courtroom. But when the judge confirmed she would be going to prison, Bergman started bawling.
While we are here today and are extremely frustrated and concerned about these facts and this case and the terrible impact that it's had, I also have to be mindful that there are cases even more extreme with defendants who have long records of that kind of behavior. And in that light, I think that a more appropriate sentence, and the sentence that I will hand down here today, is I'm going to order that Ms. Bergman be incarcerated in the Wisconsin State Prison System for 6 years. And that she served 6 years on extended supervision thereafter. That's on count 3. With regard to counts 6 and 8, I'm going to order 1.5 years of incarceration on each. That's the maximum sentence. And 2 years of extended supervision on each. And I am going to run all of this concurrent.
She got lucky right there. That concurrent. I was gonna say, how long does this go? She's lucky.
I think essentially the outcome here is 6 years in the state prison 6 years of extended supervision is an appropriate sentence given everything I've heard here today and everything I've discussed with you. Now, Ms. Bergman, you're going to have to calm down for a minute because I have to give you some warning. Right?
So, according to the plea deal,
She's smiling. You see that?
Yeah.
I don't know if she's really crying here. This might be fake, bro.
You know I don't trust a woman's tears.
If she crying, she lying.
Where Urban at? Urban, tell us.
Look at her face. You can talk. Oh, we'll look at her face. Watch her facial expressions. She's peeking, forcing them tears out. Now she's lucky. Have you ever heard of the term compassionate accountability?
No, I have not actually.
That's what this judge just did. He's holding her accountable, but he's giving her compassion. She actually has an opportunity to shift her life around. I don't see one. I mean, now there was tissue there, but does she look like she's actually crying with like liquid coming out of her eyes? I don't see a tear.
No, she calculated that. Remember, she was crying when she entered in. Again, she was trying to manipulate.
Look at that smile. Look at that smile. She's like, thank God.
I see.
I'm caught, but I'm not done.
And I mean, again, I can't be.
Look at that smile. Look at that smile.
I can't be mad at the judge because he gave us his reasoning. Sound like he's done some harsh cases already.
Yeah, there's some sick shit, man. And I can't even get into it, but I've reviewed so many cases.
And the people's expression.
Disgusting shit.
Like she knew what she was doing. So I'm saying she's gonna do this again. All right, that's it for that one.
Okay. What next? Yeah, Lee Lionel. What next, man?
About the teacher that's 30.
The teacher that's 30. All right, let me go. Is it a clip or what? Is it IG or what is it?
Discord.
I know, yeah, but which clip? Because there's a lot in there that we haven't covered. We're gonna have to come back to it.
It should already come up like teacher 30 arrested for.
Teacher 30.
Like you should see this white chick.
They're all white chicks. That one Mexican chick. Teacher 30.
And go up. It'll be January 11th.
All right, that helps. All right, I got it. Okay. Man. Here we go. Boom.
Yeah. You had this story that came out, teacher who's 30 arrested for raping student. And go to the next one. She's a 30-year-old former substitute teacher. She was arrested, and of course she was in Texas. She was arrested December 19th last year. Aggravated sexual assault, 2 counts of indecency, possession of explicit illegal materials, and she had substituted only 4 times in the past year.
Wow. She's no longer employed by the district, which was, that was it.
The next one, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. You want me to go to the next one?
Next one about Chief. You can read that one.
Chief Keef?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Chief Keef. Oh yeah, I'm actually familiar with this a little bit. Chief Keef at 16 years old, he's not 16 now, was preyed upon by a 36-year-old woman. She got pregnant from him and put him on child support when he was 17 years old. This is Chief Keef, legendary drill rapper out of Chicago, and his baby. He was 16. She was 36. She preyed on him. She got pregnant by him. She had his child. She took him to court for child support. At 17, he was ordered by a Chicago judge to pay child support. He never received justice for being manipulated. She was never held accountable. That is Chief Keef.
4.
Now, this is not uncommon. I'm going to make a connection here. We've seen a series of these women who are black socialites, we'll call them. I'm not gonna call them Instagram models, nothing like that. Who have paraded around with very young NBA players, like rookies. Like these guys are 18, 19 years old. They get some decent money coming out of college. And you have like the 40-year-old Drea who's talking to these guys and stuff. It's like, this is not a new phenomenon. These are just young YNs who get some money, get some clout, and they're going to get some action. We've heard about this in a lot of hip hop concerts where you get people like Usher, Bow Wow, these young celebrities who have these groupies who are well in their 30s and 40s coming after them when they're children. And it's just like, it is what it is. There's no issue. EAE says, I was 17 talking to a 30-year-old. That was a flex as a guy, though. This is not uncommon. This does happen. And this happens in other arenas as well. But especially when it comes to this. When it comes to black folks, this is definitely something that we don't talk about enough, is the auntie who's coming and swooping through, as they like to call themselves now. The cougar phenomenon. Where does that come from? Being attracted to cougars. You're 15, 16, 17 years old, and you're getting advances by, women who are well into their 30s and 40s. It happened to me. One of my aunt's friends, she's made some comments over the years when I was younger, and I was just like, no. Now, if I thought she was fine, I probably would be gone. I'm not gonna lie to you. At 15, 16 years old, you're horny enough, you probably would take a chance, but I never thought the lady was attractive. But that shit happens a lot. But what are your thoughts on it?
Another incident of abuse. And I'm sure that's crippling in his mind. That happened to him. She knew what she was doing.
How old is you, Keith? Now let's do some math here.
And then let's go to the last one.
Hold on 1 second. You want to comment on Urban's comment? I'll look this up. Chief Keef. He's 30. So this would have been 15 years ago? 14 years ago? So the kid's 14. Jesus. All right. And
last one at the bottom. Yeah. I'm gonna let you have.
Woman cheated and sent CSAM of her own child something. What is CSAM?
Child sexual assault material.
All right. Oh Jesus. Okay. Woman created and sent child sexual assault material of her own child to a federal inmate. Oh wow, who was in prison for abusing that child. Damn. Wow. Michelle Dorsey, 33, out of OC, Florida. It's always Florida, Texas.
Florida.
Out of Florida, accused of sexually abusing her own child, creating child sexual abuse material, and sending that material to a man in federal prison who had already abused that same child and was serving time for that abuse. There's a lot, so you might want to read that again. According to investigators, this stated because Yahoo flagged the upload. Yahoo, salute to the AI.
Exactly.
Uploads and sent a report to the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children that then led to a FDLE to her home and her arrest. What is FDLE? Federal.
I gotta look that one up real quick.
All right, federal something. I don't know. F is federal. Wow. She's now facing 8 felony charges, including child abuse, child neglect, lewd and lascivious molestation, promoting a sexual performance of a child, and multiple counts of child sexual illicit material. I think that was what it was. Prosecutors have already said more charges could be coming. This is about a parent actively participating in the abuse and sharing it with the person who hurt their child in the first place. Wow.
Florida Department of Law Enforcement.
Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Okay. Wow.
So I just wanted to say that to wrap it up on this show about female predators.
Wow. Again, it's a good place to wrap for today, but this is what led us to these conversations in general. We started off talking about parenting and where parenting could be, what it could be today, given the nature of children and technology and all that stuff. And this is where we fall, is we're here. And I'm not saying that every parent's like this, but the complacency in our parenting and in our responsibility to children is what allows these monsters to fester throughout communities unseen and unheard. This lady has no care for her child. She probably has her own issues, but that's not an excuse. No child should ever have to endure anything close to this, And for her to be serving her child to another predator the way she did, she's disgusting. And I hope that she fucking rots, period. Like, I just don't have the patience for this. This is disgusting. And they're lucky that our justice system has what I talked about earlier, compassion, accountability. Because honestly, there could be an easy solution to all of this, and it only takes a few seconds. Like, we could just get rid of them. Like, we don't have to deal with this. Like, how do you weed this out? I don't know. Man. This is sick. Any final thoughts from you, Urban, before I get canceled? Because this is crazy, bro.
No, I be sounding like him. But yeah, this has been an episode. I hope those watching understand that there is no differentiation between gender. A predator is a predator. The only real differentiation is their tactics.
Yeah.
And you just need to be aware, and we got to stop looking at abuse in one way and start looking at it as very different ways. There's numerous ways to abuse you. There's numerous ways to manipulate you. And you got to pay attention to how people are operating. Just like that woman, she came into court crying. She knew what she was doing. We saw her, like Universal caught her. She was smiling with her fake tears. She knew what she was doing. And that's all of them. They are
sick, bro. This is some sick stuff, man. God.
Us bringing this out. 5 episodes in, and what's the number one thing we keep seeing? They are master assassins. They are tacticians.
Yeah, tacticians is the best term. Like
the mind that you're going to constantly see, unfortunately. And we're just trying to bring awareness to it. And the one of this one is, again, think about what I told y'all about the halo effect. We cannot be sitting here putting just anyone on a pedestal just because she's cute or because she's feminine.
She got baby hair. She light skin.
Yeah, like the reality.
It's a freaking demon.
The reality is, they're predators. Look at them the same. Treat them the same, because they know what they're doing, and they are out to harm your children. Case in point, even your own parent.
It's crazy, man. That I don't want people to leave on a note that we can't have hope for our children, but we do have to be more aware, and we do have to have more care. Build relationships with people as best as you can. You can't trust everybody, but I don't want people to live in complete fear, but heightened awareness for sure, because it's too much vulnerability out here. It's too much access to children, and this type of stuff could just, it ruins people's lives on many different levels. And I think that in today's society, where the access is just so vast, you have to be paying attention if you're a parent, as best you can. So salute to everybody who came through or who's going to watch this later. Again, not the easiest topic. I know people want to get on panels and argue about relationships and the same fucking shit every day, but sometimes you got to deal with something that's real and talk about something that is actually affecting people's lives on a consistent basis. This is not about race. Although there are racial elements to it, this is not about gender, as we've proven today. This is about our kids and doing what's right and protecting people and not having people prey on them and manipulate and ruin our lives. You may be wondering, what does this have to do with personal development? Well, so many people have gone through trauma, they don't know how to get better because no one ever acknowledges the shit that they've been through, and that's what we're doing here in this series. Salute to Urban, who says, I will be talking about this too in the coming months. I got to get these broken men together first. Yes, add me to your list of people who are supporting you to do that, because if we don't get men together, we're in bad shape. All right, Lionel, I'm about to close us out with the video I started with, and we're going to wrap up today's show. We'll see you all in episode 6 in the next coming weeks or so. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Peace out. Where's my video? Come on. Oh, what the heck? Hold on. That was a failed boomer tech. Boomer tech.
Jones.